Hi guys, welcome to the channel. I've been unloading videos this morning, which is, I got up early and the sun's coming up, it's still dark, and it'd be great to go out right away, wouldn't it, and do some videos with the sun coming up, or get out and enjoy that, and I never seem to get the time to actually do that. It's a lot of work involved with the videos that I'm doing, just uploading them and sorting the data out and unloading the phone, the data, yeah, and dealing with, of course I'm using two devices, and it's just truck spotting, and I suppose it is a bit obsessional, but sometimes so I'm starting to miss things, so I'm doing too much, but the channel is sort of rising as well at the same time because I'm doing so much. There's more and more subscribers coming on. Yeah, I mean, I do enjoy the walks and I do enjoy the truck spotting, I suppose, yeah, so just get on with it and keep doing it, I suppose. But we have had some snotograms came in. Let's see what they are. There might not be anything. They came in yesterday, and really what it was, let's it was about the lady in the Reform Party. What's her name again? Hold on. Her name's Sarah Pochin. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I'm Scottish. Sarah Pochin. Maybe I've got that wrong. Apologies if I have. What she said, I entirely agree with, and I couldn't really say it. It is like, because it's racist, isn't it? I mean, it's not racist. It's deemed to be racist. So the reality is that everyday people like myself don't really care less what colour your skin is. However, you sort of need to, if you're from a different culture and you come to another culture which isn't the one you come from, you have to adopt or fit into that culture, and people do that, right? But of course, with the mass immigration that's going on, uncontrolled, illegal immigration, well, they did clamp down in the airports, so I think that's why you've got the small boats. The whole thing about the small boats, it drives me bonkers, because they're going, so now we're going to, they're flip-flopping again, so they're going to take them out of hotels. They should never have put them in hotels, right? That should be a basic no, because hotels should be for leisure and pleasure or business. Stay in a hotel, restaurants, bar, it should be a pleasurable thing that you, me and everyone else, regardless of your situation, should be able to enjoy. And the reason that hotels can't make money is because they've been screwed by the government, by the system. I know it's complicated, there's other elements, there's changes and everything. The Green Communist agenda is not helping hotels. The Green Communist agenda doesn't help anything, right? The fact the Green Communist agenda doesn't actually help the environment either, which is the weird part of it. It's damaging the environment. So without going off on a tangent here, what Sarah Pochin said to me was completely what I was thinking. Every time there's an advert comes on, it's a really weird looking dynamic. It's not a dynamic that seems normal, and it's prevalent, and it's virtually every advert. It's just not realistic, and it's from the point of view, I suppose I'm an ethnic Briton. I'm not. I'm Scottish. I'm from Great Britain, the British Isles, and people just aren't like that. Yeah, of course you've got black and Asian people going about. You do. I mean, I'm not saying you don't, but what she was saying, and people said it's a bit crude the way she said it. I suppose it is. I don't really. Yeah, well, it might be, but it's truthful. So what happened? Why are these adverts like that? And well, first thing you've got to say is, are the adverts like that? I mean, I really should go and look at the adverts right now, right? But we don't really have time for that. But we could do that. I mean, is it anecdotal, or I'm just imagining things? There was a counter argument put out for it in the Jeremy Vine show the other day, about footballers. They don't complain that all the footballers are black. Well, I don't care. Give a flying shite about football. Now this goes into this counter argument this lady was using, about they don't complain about black footballers. Well, that is also indicative of the difference between black people and white people, is that they are better at sports. That's why there's so many black footballers, because they come from a different environment. Than the European environment, the African environment's different. And that's why they're different. There's differences. I'm not being racist. I'm just saying there is, right? And that's why they're good at football. I could care less about football. I'm talking about adverts. I don't even watch football. I don't like women's football. So on one hand, I don't want to look at women's tits jiggling up and down. Maybe that's why. And then most of the women on the women's football don't even have tits. They're little thin wee. And you get into the argument between the differences between males and females, and women and men, and all that sort of crap, right? So let's get back to Sarah Pochin. What she said is true, right? So I did a video, and that's probably why I'm mentioning this, because there's some comments came in, and it might be about that. It might not be about it. So I like to do this so you can see what I'm seeing. You know, I don't know what they are. I haven't seen them, right? It could be nothing. Sometimes people just say words that are offensive, or the YouTube decides that they're offensive. You know, it might not be. You know, it's not necessarily. It could be nothing. This could be a wasted video. I don't know. It's from. He's a decent guy, right? Most adverts overrepresent. I see what he's doing there, but underrepresent. Yeah. So I mean, so the comment was not offensive. That's amazing. Why did YouTube block that? Well, that comment's kind of disappeared a bit at the moment, right? So the WH, that's exactly the same terminology that Cocky was using. He's a nice contributor to the channel, and so it's quite impressive how YouTube has actually blocked that. This isn't the comment he made, but it's using that and BL and then different instead of the. So it's funny because he's actually used that terminology and it's been blocked by the filters, and I can't see anything offensive about it apart from that. That's strange, isn't it? Right. Right, so, hold on. So Sarah Pochin, formerly a Conservative councillor who later sat as an independent member, she left the party and joined Reform. She currently holds the record for 1969. It's not looking bad for 1969. Oh no, she's younger than me. I thought she's 56. Right, never mind. Right. It's ugly. I don't think they're ugly, Nigel. Well, Nigel's got to toe that fine line between the European Court of Human Rights, mainstream media, the law. He's got to follow the law, right? So all you mad people that come out with these crazy ideas, you got to remember the European Court of Human Rights and Human Rights Act and all that stuff. He's got to follow that. He can't go out with that. And whether he wants to take us out of the European Court of Human Rights is unlikely, right? Nigel Farage is sort of mainstream. So he campaigned for Brexit, got us out of Brexit, and then Stammer took us back into Brexit. You know, Stammer's part of the World Economic Forum. That's what I want to come out as a World Economic Forum, and all the anti-car stuff, the anti-human stuff. I want to come away from the green communism. That's more important to me than transgender stuff, right? That's how it. So you're going to land up voting for these nutters just because they're going to give you. See, that's maybe the wrong word, nutters. You got to watch the words you use. I get away with quite a lot, but the more popular I get, I might have to be more careful with the words that I'm using. Anyway, right. So what did she say? I'm looking at this Guardian thing, but I'm trying to find out exactly what she said, because it's sort of paraphrasing her here. To recap, Nurse Ratched was appearing on Talk TV when a viewer phoned in to complain about the demographics and adverts. This turned out to be a tipping point for Sarah. There was no start in her whole life. Had been blighted by him to see so many brown and black faces on TV. The number of black and brown faces drove her mad, she said. No, right, so I agree with her. I completely agree with her. I'm just putting this into Google Gemini. See what sometimes it can be very misleading. Google Gemini. Just a second. It can be. It's not what I fucking asked you, you bastard. We're not talking about EVs. We're talking about. Ask Gemini. Try it again. No. Right, I said. Can you study focus? Right. Just a second. See, it can be helpful this thing. You've got to remember it is it does push propaganda, the ChatGPT or whatever it's you're using. Sarah Pochin, the Reform MP for Runcorn and Helsby, to her comments about skin colour in advertising and discussion on Talk TV. This is what she said in her clarification. Miss Pochin responded to a viewer who had complained about the demographics of advertising. She agreed with the caller and was quoted as saying, "It drives me mad when I see adverts full of black people, full of Asian people. It doesn't reflect our society, and I feel that your average white person, average white family is not represented anymore." She blamed the situation on the woke liberati and the arty-farty word, suggesting the town might be fine inside the M25. I agree with that, it's inside London, but it's definitely not representative of the rest of the country. She apologised for any offence caused, stating her comment was phrased poorly. She says the point I was trying to make was the British advertising agency has gone diversity, equity, inclusion mad. Many are now unrepresentative of British society as a whole. Original monarchs have been widely criticised, but there would be other political figures, many including Labour's West Street and Prime Minister calling them racist. I don't think they're racist, but I think she's absolutely spot on. I think she's right. It doesn't mean to say, yeah, I mean, she's worded it. Maybe you could say it in a better way, can't you? You don't want to be kind in a sort of objective way. So, I mean, it could be that Asian people maybe don't want to see adverts full of Asian people, and it could be that black people don't want every advert full of black people. It needs to be done properly, and I think what she's noticed, and what I've noticed, is that the tilt went way too far to sort of an overcompensation. So are they trying to crush white European people? Is that what they're trying to do? And I think there's an argument there is that they're trying to destroy our civilization. I know the answer to that is, if you don't want white civilization to be destroyed, you need to start having more children. Stop promoting women. We don't need women astronauts. So every time you put the telly on, so is that Sarah Pochin going to complain about that type of thing? I'm not so sure. She probably won't complain about. So that's what we've got the problem, is that for millions of years, women's role was to have children and produce children, and that's why we have all this. That's why we have black and Asian people in our adverts, in my opinion, right? So get out there. It's difficult, isn't it? It's impossible in this current, the way things are. You can't afford a house, you can't get a decent job. If you're male, you're playing a PlayStation. A woman's not going to want you, and you can't afford to have one either because you can't afford to buy a house. It's shit, right? But I think there's a lot of these problems. But I think she was right in what she said. So thanks for watching. Bye.